This is Pallas Hotel and Nature Centre. So this is the starting point, or the finishing point, depending on which direction you're walking in. And these two here, these are my travelling companions. The one on the right is Ulna, and before she came to work at Hetta Huskies, Ulna used to compete in sled dog races. And Ulna's brought her best friend with her. That's Marika. Marika's been working on the farm since she was a child. She used to come during summer holidays and help out. So since then she's grown up to be a very responsible, hard-working and thoughtful young lass. She's a good one. The first day I didn't really get very much good footage. It was rainy, cloudy and extremely windy. So the audio was absolutely awful, hence the voiceover. The trail stretches for 55 kilometres, so that's about 35 miles. And along the way there are various cabins that you can stay at. This one's the first one, which is Rimakuru. So camping is allowed in the vicinity of the cabins, but the rest of the national park, camping's prohibited. The cabins are supplied with firewood, and there is a water source always nearby. Sometimes you are expected to boil the water, depending on the location, and also depending on the weather. You're expected to boil all water in warm weather. All of the cabins also have their own compost toilet. So not far from Rimakuru is Namalukuru. This is the second cabin. It's a little bit more fancy, and the old building that was here, because this is quite new, was bought by the company that I work for. I've actually only just finished moving the logs into position from where they were stored in our yard to where we're actually going to erect the cabin. Here we have the old cabin. So these log cabin constructions, they're actually relatively easy to take apart and move. Apart from, of course, the fact that the logs are actually really heavy. So Namalukuru has two dormitories. This one is open and free, and the other one is a little bit more luxurious and you have to pay for. All of the cabins have a little gas stove, they all have a fireplace, and they're all quite clean, cosy and nice. The whole of the trail is extremely well marked, and it's a great way of seeing some of the Lappish countryside, and there are some really excellent views. Are you having fun, Ulna? Oh yes you are. Towards the end of the first day, the weather started to pick up a little bit, and we got some spectacular views. Montelimbaya is a very small little open cabin, but it's in a lovely location. I think this is where we're going to be staying. We have got a tent and a tarp, but if there's nobody in the cabin, and also we got a Siberian jay up there, a kukli. That's got to be a good sign.
I think it's Piharatam, but don't quote me on it.
So this is what the Indians, the Native Americans, used to call white man's footprints. It's broadleaf plantain. They used to call it that because it came from Europe, and it basically used to spread wherever the white man went. But it's quite interesting because it's not really much of a wilderness species around here. You do tend to get it around human habitation. And look what we've got here. This is Suwaskuru, a very cosy little hut. Okay, so this is Hanakuru, which is more or less the halfway point, and it's where, to be honest, most people like to stop, which is one of the reasons why I think it's worth avoiding. But it's halfway, so we're going to have a break here. So there's all the normal services. You can camp here, there's an open hut, there's a reservable hut, and there's a water pump. So this is the reservable cabin, which has a sauna. Did I mention we got a sauna here? Of course, it's very unusual to have so many cabins anywhere in Finland and only one sauna. Shocking, really. So Marika, when did you fall in love with Olna?
So it happened on my first winter season at Hetta Huskies, and I was on the front sleigh of the safari, and Una was in the lead of the second sleigh with Yoda. And Yoda is quite known for like turning around all the way to the driver and just getting cuddles and pets from the driver instead of going forward. So I told the driver that please come always near me so I can catch the neckline between Una and Yoda and keep them on the straight line. But when we came to the road crossing, they didn't quite manage that, and Yoda turned all the way to the driver to get cuddles and created this huge mess of 5 dogs. So then I just shouted for Ulna to line out, and she did it perfectly with no tangles at all, and I don't know, I'm so proud of her.
Just 6 kilometres or so, so that's round about 4 miles to the north of Hanakuru, is Pahakuru. It's a much smaller little cabin, much less visited, and it's a really nice location. And with there being less people, it's, I think, a bit safer with the coronavirus and all of this. Yeah, all of these cabins were closed during lockdown, and yeah, they've opened up again for the summer. Whether they'll close again this winter, I don't know. So this is Pahakuru. It's really windy outside, so I'll show you what it looks like from outside, but I'll not do any talking on that bit. But this is my favourite little cabin. Gas cooker there, little stove. It doesn't get used very much, so there's usually nobody sleeping in here, but you can't see out of the window, can you? Can you? It's just such a lovely setting. It's such a nice little cabin. What do you think, Olna? Hey? Rather than stay at Pahakuru, we walked a little bit further to Suwaskuru, where, because there were people in the cabin, we camped outside. Me in the Langshan one, and Marika in a tarp that I lent her so she could cuddle up with Olna. Olna didn't like the tarp. She decided that's not a proper kennel, and she preferred to sleep outside. This mountain is Puhakero. It's visible from Hetta, and the cabin, the last cabin on the trail if you're heading towards Hetta, is also called Puhakero. And from Puhakero it's a short walk to the lake where you can get a boat taxi to Hetta. because of the rough conditions, the boat taxi operator didn't want to cross the lake and pick us up. Instead, he drove around the lake and picked us up from the trailhead. Anyway everybody, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this little video, and please like, subscribe and share, and I'll see you all again soon for another Kookily Bushcraft video. Bye for now.